Marhaba, that's hello in Arabic. I'm Chef Kamal and you're cooking with Kamal Lebanese style. I'm going to show you a recipe that's in my book, Classic Lebanese Cuisine. This one's on page 142. You can also find it on my website, cookingwithkamal.com, for the entire recipe. I have 5 recipes on my website and 170 recipes in my cookbook. Now, this recipe, what I like about it is you can make it days in advance. It's extremely healthy. It's vegan. It's everything in it's vegetarian. But you can also, once you've prepared it, you can separately make either chicken, lamb, or beef and fold it into this recipe and turn it from a side dish into an entree. But we're going to make the side dish today. Now, I'm going to go over the ingredients first, and then we'll go ahead and start cooking it. Now, you can use fresh or frozen string beans. I used fresh because they were beautiful in the market the other day, so I cut them into 1-inch pieces. I'm using 2 cups of diced onion, about a 1/4 inch dice. This is yellow onion or brown onion in the grocery store. I'm using a cup of diced tomato, but you want it to be peeled and diced. So what you do to peel it, you just take boiling water, dip the tomato in there for about 12 seconds, and the peel will come right off. So this is the 1 cup of tomatoes. We have a 1/2 cup of tomato paste. This is just out of the can. 1 1/3 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper and sugar, and 1/3 cup of garlic. Now I've peeled these. Again, when you're choosing garlic, always choose firm heads that have not started to sprout. I peeled this and then cut each one into half lengthwise. So to get started here, what we're going to do is we're going to turn our skillet on medium-high, and we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, we want to add our onions and our garlic. Smells wonderful. And our salt. Now we're just going to stir this around for about 2 minutes. Now I like to do this because it sort of releases the moisture in the onion, and it lets the onion and the garlic brown together, sort of letting the flavors develop, just for a couple of minutes before we start adding the rest of the ingredients. You can use a skillet like this, or you can use, a pot. It's whatever's convenient for you. I like to usually if I'm making a larger amount, I'll use a large pot, but for one recipe, a large skillet like this is perfect. Just go ahead and, now I can really smell the garlic. It's wonderful. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add our string beans. Our salt, our pepper, and our sugar. I'm just going to stir this around, and then we're going to add 3 cups of boiling water. Now, when I add boiling water, you could add cold water, but then it's going to take that much longer for it to heat up. So I just heat up some boiling water, have it ready on the side here. So we just add 3 cups. Okay, and at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to increase the heat to high, and we're going to add the tomato paste. And we want to stir this around until the tomato paste has completely dissolved. Okay. Okay, so we'll go ahead. And what we want to do is we're going to dissolve this, but we want to bring this to a rolling boil so that the surface seems to be completely covered with bubbles before we add the tomato. Then we just cover it, and it cooks for 30 minutes. You'll stir it like maybe a couple of times. You should check it periodically. If it seems like it's sticking in those 30 minutes, all you have to do is reduce the heat just a bit. So now we're just going to let this come to a full boil. Okay, so now we've brought it to a full rolling boil. You see the surface really has a lot of bubbles, and this is exactly what we want before we're going to reduce the heat and cover it for about 30 minutes. But first we're going to add our cup of diced tomatoes. Okay, we're going to mix those in. Now again, this green bean and olive oil with tomato can be made several days in advance, and you can just keep it in the refrigerator. And actually, the flavors seem to develop over the several days. So usually when I'm going to serve this dish, I make it a few days in advance. Okay. Now we're just going to reduce the heat. We'll cover it. I'll reduce the heat to medium. We'll cover this. We'll check back in 30 minutes. Okay, and now it's been 30 minutes, so we're just going to finish this off. Just going to stir it around, and we're going to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And just heat that through. That's it. And then we're going to take this off and let it cool and serve it at room temperature. You can just cover this, set it off the side, heat up some pita bread, and this is an absolutely delicious side dish, or I actually have it for lunch sometimes just with pita bread, and I make a small salad. Sahtain, double health. This recipe is one of 170 fresh and healthy Mediterranean favorites found in my cookbook, Classic Lebanese Cuisine. The book comes with a color photograph of each recipe with easy-to-follow step-by-step directions. You can purchase the book at online venues such as Amazon.com or at bookstores throughout the United States and some countries. The book is also available at my shop, shopkamal.com, where you can send inscribed copies of the book to your friends and family. It also comes with a complimentary DVD with a bunch of tutorials such as how to roll grape leaves, rolling dough, how to butcher a leg of lamb, and even how to dice an onion. All these techniques will be very helpful when you're preparing these recipes and other recipes. So I hope you've enjoyed this recipe, Sahtain, double health.